What's up, gentlemen and ladies? Welcome. Yes, I decided to make a part 2 for this video. One, because the last one was really kind of popular and I had more stuff that I wanted to talk about that I realized since I made it. And two, because a lot of people disagreed with me. For the most part, pretty much nobody was able to kind of justify any of the dumb things that I mentioned in the previous one about the series. Like, a lot of people, for example, were telling me stupid, obvious things like, oh, Naminé is Kairi's nobody. It's like, yeah, guys, I know, I said it in the video. I was saying, why didn't she, herself, her body, the redhead Kairi, become the nobody? Nobody was able to explain that, sorry, but I'm not here to talk about that this time. Because one of the main complaints that some people were telling me was that, well, it's kind of a little misleading that you say that you think it will suck just because of the story and not because of the gameplay, because, I mean, all things considered, the main part of a game is the gameplay, and I will admit, that's true. However, at the beginning of the last video, or at some point in that video, I did say I believe that Kingdom Hearts 3 will have decent gameplay. It'll be, you know, really good, on par, if not better, than the previous ones, and that I wasn't worried for that. But the more I started to think about it, honestly, I started to realize I don't think that's going to happen, honestly, at this point. As of the current build for the game right now. If anything changes in the future, of course, all the stuff that I said could change, but specifically talking about gameplay, there's something about Kingdom Hearts 3 that really worries me, and that is its development team. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 were made by one of the main Square Enix teams. I forget the exact name of it, but it's basically Tetsuya Nomura's team, right? And his team, after making Kingdom Hearts 2, went straight to working on Final Fantasy Versus 13, now Final Fantasy 15, so pretty much the entire team that was working on that is working on FF15 now. And the original plan was supposed to be that when they finished working on that game, they would go over and help with Kingdom Hearts 3. Of course, that's what they said, but all Kingdom Hearts fanboys out there, including even some Kingdom Hearts YouTubers, have been saying, oh, that's not true, just because they like to think in their minds that Final Fantasy 15 didn't need to be done in order for Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out, even though that was always the case. But, I mean, hey, the Kingdom Hearts fan base is one of the worst out there. I mean, this is the same people that thought that Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out anytime before 2017 was actually a possibility from the beginning. Like, it was just not gonna happen, guys, but whatever, let them be ignorant. They'll see they're wrong eventually. However, who is making Kingdom Hearts 3 now? Well, the Osaka team. Now, for those of you guys that don't know who the Osaka team is, it is the team that developed Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance, as well as the HD remixes. And that's what has me worried. I don't think that Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be as good as, I'm just going to be straight up and say, Kingdom Hearts 2. Because a lot of people like to sit there and pretend like the Kingdom Hearts series has been getting better, or that, you know, Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance are on par, but really, they're not. We can sit here and tell ourselves that all day long, but they're not. If you like the story of Birth by Sleep better, that's fine. If you like the combat system that they went with, that's fine. If you enjoy playing Birth by Sleep more, I'm not even talking about Dream Drop Distance because even less people like that, so it's actually been getting worse if you're keeping track, but ignoring that, even if you like Birth by Sleep better yourself personally, that's fine. But we cannot sit here and say that Birth by Sleep was a better designed game than Kingdom Hearts 2, because it just straight up wasn't. It was a very poorly designed game, and I will admit that Dream Drop Distance did get a little bit better on that, but it still wasn't to the level of Kingdom Hearts 2. And some of those things you could blame on the hardware, sure, I guess. That's a really bad excuse, but if that's what you want to go with, then whatever, I'm not going to try to reason with this community again. But some of the bosses specifically in that game were just straight up broken. Like, they did not work how they were supposed to, and they're really bad about the whole difficulty thing, if you know what I mean, because, and not even just in terms of like it being hard, going both ways, there is always, and Kingdom Hearts fans can agree with me on this, and even some Kingdom Hearts YouTubers have said this, an overpowered ability in those games. There was one in Birth by Sleep, there was one in Dream Drop Distance, because that is their idea of making you good at the game. It's not giving you more things to do, it's not, you know, letting you get skilled, it's just giving you overpowered things. And in terms of difficulty, they don't know how to program that. They literally go overboard on some of the bosses, like specifically, off the top of my head, Vanitas in Birth by Sleep. That fight is broken. It straight up cheats half of the time. I don't care what anybody says. Like, if you can interrupt, if your enemy, the boss you're fighting, can interrupt his own animation mid-combo, teleport behind you, and hit you, or if he can kill you right after you finish doing like a joint attack with Mickey, that's bullshit. I don't care what anybody says, because like stuff like the Mickey ability that you could do, kind of like a reaction command or whatever, they literally just throw that in there. They have no idea how that actually works into the game, because it doesn't work. First of all, it barely does any damage because he can teleport and avoid everything, and right after it he can kill you. And it's the same thing with a lot of the things. Like, how much stuff is in Birth by Sleep that almost like nobody ever used? Like, I'm not saying nobody used these, but honestly, my first playthrough, I never used D-Links. I barely used Shot Lock, and a bunch of like the things in Birth by Sleep you just don't use because they give you so much, but a lot of it is just useless half the time. And it's the same with Dream Drop Distance to a lesser extent. Again, they just made you completely overpowered when it comes to flow motion, because they don't know how to balance a game properly. And yeah, the areas were big, but they were so empty. There was nothing to do in Dream Drop Distance, just like unlike in Kingdom Hearts 2, where you go to an area, there's people to talk to, there's mini games, there's different things that you can do, you can explore, there's secrets, there's hidden stuff. In Dream Drop Distance, you just have these huge open areas that you can jump all the way to the roof of places. Like, that's it, honestly. And if that's how they're going to design Kingdom Hearts 3, it's going to be a bad game. I don't care what anybody says. Even the HD remixes, the one thing that they had to do was port the games from the systems they were already on to PS3. They couldn't even get that right. How much stuff is worse in the remixes than in the original? First of all, the game is super slow, specifically Kingdom Hearts 2. Everybody knows this, and you can blame it on the PS3 all you want. I'm sorry, but those loading times on the drive forms are just disgusting. And even basic things like boss fights, the Xemnas fight in Kingdom Hearts 2, they broke it. It was fine in the original. You play the PS2 version, Xemnas was absolutely fine, but when they ported it over to PS3, somehow they managed to screw that up, and the reaction command is broken. How does that even happen? They are so incompetent, it is not even funny. Oh my god. They've never made a mainline Kingdom Hearts game before, for a reason. You know, not everything that's good on like one game or on one system necessarily transfers over to the other one. For example, the same team, I'm using an example that doesn't really have much to do with Kingdom Hearts, but Hajime Tabata, the now director of Final Fantasy XV, he directed Crisis Core on the PSP. And that game is pretty much loved by everybody. Everyone loves that game. They all agree that it's great, it's amazing, all these things, right? He also directed, and his team also did Type 0. Now, I don't know how many of you had played Type 0 HD on the PS4. It's a terrible game. Terrible. And I haven't played the PSP version, so I will give them that, but I can't imagine that they messed it up that much from one system to the other. And it's the same thing with Kingdom Hearts. It doesn't always work when you change teams, when you change people, when you transfer from systems. They're used to working on something like the PSP. Now they're making a game for PS4, where our expectations are Kingdom Hearts 2 level. Honestly. There's, going back on the whole difficulty thing, there's a difference between real difficulty, like in Kingdom Hearts 2, and artificial difficulty. Because any time that I died in Kingdom Hearts 2, I never thought to myself, that was an unfair fight, or that's because the boss cheated. It cheated, you know, the old excuse. Lingering Will, it's hard, yeah. It hits, you know, really hard, it has a lot of defenses, but you can learn it. You can learn it, and when you beat it, you feel, I beat him. You don't feel, I got lucky this time, and that's why I beat him. And that happens a lot in Birth by Sleep, especially with some of the optional boss fights. Oh my god. I don't know who had the idea to do this. I really do hope that the whole thing, that once Final Fantasy XV is done, that team will go over to help Kingdom Hearts 3 is true. I really do hope so. As much as some Kingdom Hearts fanboys, and you know what, honestly, they don't even have a reason to anymore, because back then, they thought that 2014, 2015 was, or sorry, no, not 2014. They thought that 2015, 2016 was possible for the game to release, even though from the beginning it never had any chance of coming out those years. But now we know for sure that it's not going to come out until 2017, 2018, so it wouldn't matter anyways. Just, I hope that after finishing Final Fantasy 15, that team goes over to help them, because Osaka is so incompetent. They're fine for spin-offs. They're decent for spin-offs. But even that, they're not really all that good at. A case in point, Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance. None of the Kingdom Hearts spin-offs were really good, honestly. Like, Kingdom Hearts is such a hit-or-miss series. Like I said, it peaked at Kingdom Hearts 2, and it literally has only gone downhill from there. Birth by Sleep was worse in terms of like gameplay and all this stuff like that. The story is whatever, that's irrelevant according to you guys. That's not what matters, as my comment section from the last video said. And then Dream Drop Distance was arguably even worse. They need to get their act together, or I don't know, honestly, or they just need to get replaced. Like I've said in some of my previous videos, I would think that they're just placeholders for Kingdom Hearts 3, and that the other team is going to come in later, and that's what I hope is the case. Because if they're going to develop Kingdom Hearts 3, then it's over. It's both story and gameplay. It literally would have nothing going for it. The music. That's what I'm going to play Kingdom Hearts 3 for, the music. Anyways, I'm not even going to bother doing my proper outro. It's not worth it, honestly, so yeah, that's it.